Hello and welcome to Journey to Easter. Today is Monday, March 10th, and we are now in the first week of Lent, Our gospel today comes from Matthew chapter 25, and it is that beautiful reading, that is called the Judgment. And it kind of tells us what the final judgment is all about. So I'd like to read to you just a portion of it, verses 31 and 32, from the 25th chapter of Matthew. And it reads, Jesus said to his disciples, when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit upon his glorious throne, and all the nations will be assembled before him. And he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And if you continue reading on in this particular gospel passage, you're going to continue to hear, how Jesus lays out, kind of what the final judgment is all about and how we are going to be judged. And, sometimes when we think about heaven, we think about this glorious place, but we also think about it in terms of that we're all going to be there and we're all going to make it. Well, I can tell you that Jesus kind of gives us an image that, or an idea that maybe that isn't just so. And it should make us wonder, but what's unique about this is he tells us, what truly gets us in, to that everlasting life. And part of that is that how do we treat the least of our brothers and sisters? How do we take care of those in our society, our circle of life who are marginalized, who are forgotten, who are rejected? And, they ask him the question, how do we do that? And he says, you know what? When you take care of one of the least of my brothers and sisters, that is what it's all about. So we need to think about that. How are we doing taking care of those that are less fortunate? And, it doesn't mean that, every week we have to go down to a soup kitchen, or we have to sign up to visit people in prison, or we have to go to the, rehab facilities to visit people who are ill. That's great if we can do all those things, but you always have to have the mindset of what can I do to take care of someone who doesn't have it as good as I do? What can I do to pick somebody up when they're down? That should be our motivation every day, to set out and say, what can I do today to help another out? It might be that you're not able to go to these places, but how about you send a letter to someone? Maybe an elderly person that's lonely. Maybe in some way you do support like Catholic Charities or the North End Soup Kitchen, by just financially giving something if you're able to. Maybe it is you buy some extra canned goods, you drop it off at the nearest, soup kitchen or a place that takes care of, helping people in need. There's always something that we can do, but that should be our mindset, is what Jesus tells us, is to always think of the other. Because that is really what he's challenging us with here when he talks about that final judgment. How do we take care of others? Again, I think Jesus makes it very easy when he says, be others-centered. Always think about the other. So today, I think that's our challenge. Maybe that's our reflection. Maybe that's the question we ask ourselves today. How am I taking care of others? How am I taking care of those that are less fortunate than myself? What more can I do? Because you know what? There is always something that you can do. Continue your journey to Easter.